The Alkebu-Lan Revivalist Movement presents Afrika Speaks with Alkebu-Lan on Galaxy Radio 102.5 FM and GalaxyAfiwi.com, the only de-brainwashing station. Weekly discussions and live debate on all issues affecting the African community at home and abroad. Tune in Mondays 8 to 10 p.m. and have your say as we talk it straight and make it plain. It's live, it's hot, it's scintillating, it's real. It's Afrika Speaks with Alkebu-Lan on Galaxy Radio, the only de-brainwashing station.
Tendai Mwadi, be thankful unto God. Greetings, Galaxy family. You're tuned into Afrika Speaks with Alkebu-Lan. Hosting tonight's program is Brother Mawali and myself, Sister Kai. It's Monday, the 18th of May, and it's 4 minutes past the hour of 8. Alkebu-Lan is known for keeping its finger on the pulse of the community, addressing the most pertinent and controversial issues some radio stations just won't touch. So keep it locked on 102.5 FM or www.galaxyafiwi.com and join us for the next 2 hours by calling 07983 852 952 or 07538 005 634. You can also text us on 07572 222 156. On Afrika Speaks with Alkebu-Lan, we talk it straight and make it plain. This show is not for the faint-hearted. Tendai Mwadi. Yes, sisters and brothers, we give thanks and praises. We are, this evening, have a very important discussion. The subject this evening is, are young people interested in liberation work? Are young people interested in liberation work? Well, we've got a number of young people in our studio today we're going to be linking up with, and you will hear from them and they'll get an opportunity for you to share your views with them. So take this opportunity to give somebody a call or to text them and tell them to tune in to Afrika Speaks with Alkebu-Lan on 102.5 FM or www.galacyafiwi.com. Tendai Mwadi. Yes, sisters and brothers, this is Africa Liberation Month. We are celebrating, in Birmingham, they're celebrating 40 years of celebrating Africa Liberation Day. But in 1963, yes, that was the first celebration for African Liberation Day, organized by the Organization of African Unity, by the independent states of Mama Africa in Ethiopia, Addis Ababa, and since then, brothers and sisters, celebrations have continued to take place all over the African world, and we give thanks and praises for those who have kept the fire burning. As usual, we take this opportunity to welcome our resident guest, the spiritual leader of the Alkebu-Lan Revivalist Movement, Brother Leader Bandaka. Tendai Mwari, greetings and welcome, Brother Leader.
Tendai Mwari, Sister Kai, greetings to you as well, and I bring greetings as always in the precious, powerful and bountiful name of our motherland, Alkebu-Lan, Mama Africa, in the sacred spirits of our most gracious ancestors, and in a prayer for oneness, hope and prosperity for all African people upon the face of Mother Earth. Rumbidzo kunamwari Africa, to the God of Africa be the glory. It is a joy to be an African, and indeed a joy to be on Galaxy Radio. Tendai Mwari.
Tendai Mwari, as always. Yes, Brother Leader. And as always, it continued to be a challenging week for the Africans all over the world. Mm-hmm. But nonetheless, always inspiring, because this month is one of us coming together, organizing, strategizing, and planning our future, our children's future, our grandchildren's future, and our children to come. So we give thanks and praises for that.
Tendai Mwari.
Tendai Mwari. And last week, brothers and sisters, if you had the opportunity to tune in to Afrika Speaks, you would have heard Elder Ras Bini Brown and Brother Asari Sabukwe, who are both organizers of Africa Liberation Day celebrations in Birmingham and in London. And we, the Alkebu-Lan Revivalist Movement, will be traveling to Birmingham for the weekend of the 25th and the 24th and the 25th of May. And we will also be celebrating with the All African People's Revolutionary Party on the 30th of May in London. We give those details a bit further on, brothers and sisters. But just to let you know what is going to be taking place in London on the 28th.
Alkebu-Lan Nomo presents the Omawali Malcolm X 90th birthday special on Friday the 29th of May 2015. The X Agenda, Government versus Gangs. Message by Respect Fire-Bingi, Black Fist, Black Power, and Tabazwa Shakara Bendaka Army, addressing how should we respond to police violence? Should we vote for change? What is the role of the streets? Momo, the Omawali Malcolm X 90th birthday special, the X Agenda, Government versus Gangs. Friday the 29th of May 2015 takes place at Mama Afrika Culture Shop, 282 High Road, Leighton, London E10 5PW. Doors open at 7 p.m. and admission is a mere £3. Under 21s are free. Coming straight from work, don't worry, hot food will be on sale. Books, DVDs and educational materials are also on sale. For more information, contact 0208 539 2154 07908 814 152 www.alkebulan.org
Tendai Mora. Yes, that's the Alkebu-Lan Normal Sessions, the last Friday of every month at 282 High Road, Leighton. We give thanks and praises for that. Tendai Mwadi. Yes, sisters and brothers, we this is Afrika Speaks with Alkebu-Lan, and we the subject this evening are young people interested in liberation work. Well, the lines are not open presently, but throughout the show, until the lines are open, you do have the opportunity to text in your thoughts, your questions, if you so wish. I'll give the text number again. We only take text on this number, and it is 07538 005634. Tendai Mwadi. Yes, sisters and brothers, this is Afrika Speaks with Alkebu-Lan on 102.5 FM, www.galaxyafiwi.com. Tendai Mwadi. Well, sisters and brothers, my co-host, Brother Omawali, is with us, and I'm sure he would like to just hail up the family as we continue. Tendai Mwadi.
Tendai Mwadi, brothers and sisters, giving thanks and praises to Mwadi Nyakusika, God the creator of the universe, through the spirits of Mzumukuru, our great ancestors. Rumbitsu kuna Mwadi Africa. To the God of Africa be the glory. Tendai Mwadi.
Tendai Mwadi.
Giving thanks and praises, Sister Kai. It is a joy to be an African. It's a joy to be on Galaxy Radio 102.5 FM, www.galaxyafiwi.com. Galaxy is the only de-brainwashing station. Tendai Mwadi. Yes, Sister Kai.
Tendai Mwadi, Brother Omawali. Well, we've got a very important discussion taking place. And just to remind us, brothers and sisters, that our history is very important to us, especially when we want our young people to continue our work. They need to know what's happened before so they can take the whole process forward. And we do have a number of young people in our studio this evening who will be sharing their thoughts about African liberation and their involvement in it, and what they feel that we need to do to really reach young people in this time and in this era. Tendai Mwadi. Yes, the great Baba John Henry Clark is somebody that we have so much respect for, and he informs us that history is a clock.
Indeed.
And this is how he tells it to us.
History is a clock that people use to tell their political and cultural time of day. It is also a compass that people use to find themselves on the map of human geography. History tells of people where they have been and what they have been, where they are and what they are. Most important, history tells a people where they still must go and what they still must be. The relationship of history to the people is the same as the relationship of a mother to her child.
My brothers and sisters, you're tuned to Africa Speaks with Alkebu-Lan and Galaxy Radio 102.5 FM, www.galaxyafiwi.com. Our subject matter this evening, brothers and sisters, are young people interested in liberation work. Tendai Mwari. 2015 is the 40th anniversary of the converted observance of African Liberation Day in the UK. So by rights, the events and the movement around it should have produced a generation of children and grandchildren to secure its legacy. One way to examine what might be called intergenerational coherence is through the lens of a crisis or major social upheaval. This appears to be the most pronounced. This appears to be most pronounced in the USA, where a plethora of youth-based protests against state killings under the general heading #Black Lives Matter has galvanized young people across the country, especially in flashpoint areas like Ferguson and Baltimore. For their efforts, elected officials have labeled them thugs, what some are referring to as the new N-word, while other established leaders have criticized them for being motivated by self-aggrandizement or not having real goals. Similarly, in the UK, some of the most vociferous elders, in spite of declaring their participation in uprisings 3 decades hence, denounced the actions of Mosiah of August 2011 in spite of being clear and direct, in spite of having direct and clear parallels. One interference is that many established structures have not created means by which young people. One inference is that many established structures have not created means by which young people can be inducted into the movement. It can also be seen as a measure of how far activists of today have deviated from the programs of the most eminent prophet and king, His Excellency Marcus Mosiah Garvey, in spite of it almost being obligatory to make reference to him, although grudgingly in some cases. Sister Natanya Duncan, Assistant Professor of History and Geography at Morgan State University, through her extensive studies of the UNIA-ACL and its auxiliaries, have revealed that the average age of UNIA-ACL members was between 28 to 35. So it was very much a young person's movement, while having programs across the entire age range. The landscape confronting a motivated young person today will be more likely to include some of these. The intellectual elites often engaging in self-referential discussions with colleagues with little regards to grassroots engagement. The one-person organization, while potentially well-meaning and effective, is not actually an organization. The family organization with close associates that have effective events stroke programs, but little scope for those outside of the close circle. When young people don't seem to see enough, is a functional operational unity amongst us and amongst those and other tendencies. This evening, brothers and sisters, we asked a question. Are young people still interested in liberation work? Why is ALD? Which ALD events will you be going to? Do established organizations have means to induct young people into them? What kind of things would attract young people to organizations? Are young people better off starting their own organizations? Do today's organizations make only theoretical references to Papa Garvey? The numbers to log, brothers and sisters, are 07 538 005 634. That's 07 538 005 634 or 07 983 852 952 or 07 572 222 156. That's the text line, brothers and sisters. Our special guests this evening are, of course, our spiritual leader, Brother Leader Mbandaka, who is a resident guest of Afrika Speaks with Alkebu-Lan. We have Sister Tamar Cush Francis, who is the vice chair of the Organization of Black Unity, which is a movement founded in Birmingham that have updated the Organization of African American Unity, founded in 1964 by Papa Omowale Malcolm X. The OBU have designated 2015 the 90th anniversary of Papa Omowale Malcolm X's birth and have designated it Year X, and will be hosting a Malcolm X Youth Conference on the 23rd of May of this year. Brother Tafadzwa Shakara Mbandaka, who is the son of renowned community activist Brother Leader Mbandaka, and is an experienced, multifaceted performer, journalist, broadcaster, and workshop facilitator. Brother Shakara is the leader of the Army, the Alkebu-Lan Revivalist Movement Youth. He will also be delivering, alongside Raspek Fire Bingi, the keynote message at the upcoming Alkebu-Lan Nomo Omowale Malcolm X 90th anniversary event, the X Agenda, Government versus Gangs. Also in the studio, brothers and sisters, we have this evening Raspek Fire Bingi, who is one of the hottest acts on the music scene right now, who recently released his debut EP, The Sun Has Returned. That includes the underground smash hit Tendai Mwari. Brother Raspek combines his creativity with his activism and is the spokesman for BFBP, Black Fist, Black Power Youth Movement. Okay. Tendai Mwari. All right. Tendai Mwari. So, brothers and sisters, our subject matter again this evening for you are young people interested in liberation work. I'm gonna... Do we have Birmingham yet? Okay. Tendai Mwari. Okay, first of all, I want to greet Brother Shakara, Tafadzwa Shakara Mbandaka, Tendai Mwari. Greetings and welcome to Afrika Speaks, Brother Shakara.
Tendai Mwari. Greetings, Uncle Mwale, and the whole entire Galaxy family. African power for all African people. Black Fist, Black Power. Army is in the house. Tendai Mwari.
Tendai Mwari. And right alongside him is none other than Raspek Fire Bingi. Tendai Mwari Raspek. Welcome to Afrika Speaks.
Tendai Mwari.
Indeed. Tendai Mwari. And we have, all the way from Birmingham, do we have Sister Kush? Tendai Mwari, Sister Kush.
Tendai Mwari, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Welcome to Afrika Speaks with Alkebu-Lan.
OBU is here, present.
OBU in the building. Oh, well, not quite in the building, but almost. Tendai Mwari. Okay, I'm gonna start with our Birmingham contingency. As I say, sisters first. My dear sister, are young people interested in liberation work, in your opinion?
Well, from my opinion, yes, they are. They're very interested in liberation. I think the issue they have is how to temper that, and where they go to express their need for that. And I think that's a gap that we're trying to fill at the moment.
Okay, so in what ways do they show their interest to organizations like yourself? In what ways do they show it?
Well, I mean, even if not officially, I mean, a lot of the topics that we speak about, we have, OBU, we put out, we do monthly events every month. So a lot of the times, based upon the discussions that we have, based upon the issues that young people can see happening in the media, based upon their own personal experiences, there is this frustration there. There is this want to, let that fire out, so to speak. And rather than it be done unconstructively, they really do want an avenue, an arena where they feel like their voice is valid, where they feel like they have something to contribute, and where they feel like they can actually make a difference. And that's the feedback that we get after a lot of our events. How do we get involved? What can I do? My friends on this or my friends, and they're really excited about it. And what's a shame is sometimes that there's not a lot of arenas to follow up on that, and that's one of the reasons why OBU came about, was to kind of fill that gap, for the young people.
Okay, and in terms of filling that gap, how does OBU attempt? Obviously, it's a massive task and responsibility. How does OBU try to fill that particular gap for our young people?
I mean, specifically, like I said, with events like the youth conference that we have this Saturday, the 23rd of March, which is aimed specifically at young people 13 and over. But also, just when we do have our events, it's simple things like the language that you use. As an adult, as going to an adult setting, I think sometimes we forget the terminology that we use, the theory that we use. Young people may not, be well versed in language, so a lot of times, they're not communicating, they're not participating in discussion, because a lot of the time they don't even understand what's being said around them. You understand? So it's not that they're incompetent, it's just that we as the adults, we have to, tailor our events towards the young people, using certain language, using certain people in the community, using relevant examples, for them to be able to relate to. Because if we talk to if we use adult talk, or if we're always referring to what happened 40 years ago when they wasn't here, they don't feel connected to that.
Right.
They turn on the TV, they're on the internet, they're on Facebook every day, they're seeing all these things, and that's the avenue we need to, come at with them. So that's what we try and do.
Right, okay. All right, well, give thanks for the moment, my sister. Thank you very much for engaging with us. Right, I want to move to Brother Shakara Tafadzwa Mbandaka, Tendamwari. Tendamwari, young man, now you've been on the road for a little while, and again, the same question to you. Are young people interested in liberation work, in your opinion?
Yeah, it's a yes or no answer question. I was on the show a few months ago when we dealt with something similar in relation to, I think the word was nation building. Yeah, and I think there has been a lot of destruction in terms of the Black Liberation Movement, not just in terms of the form of the Black Liberation Movement, but in terms of even the idea of black people organizing along our own self-determination, liberation agenda. And so I think whereas the idea of selling the Black Liberation Movement to African people in the 1950s, 60s and 70s, you might have had an easier job in terms of selling the concept. It's more difficult now with this generation of young people because there's so many distractions and disturbances and other ideals of success. Like back in the day, you knew the white man didn't want you in his system. It's a bit difficult to tell the black youth that now when Barack Obama is in the White House, like the white man don't want you in his system, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes it's a harder sell and sometimes there's more distractions, but I think it depends on where you go. I think the deeper, they say that they have this term disaffected where they refer to youths that are, on the road or, not operating, in terms of the norms of society. A lot of the quote-unquote disaffected youths are the easiest to galvanize in terms of inspiring a liberation agenda. It kind of makes sense, even if one doesn't necessarily take it on. I think I'm agreeing with Sister Kush in the sense that the avenues are often not there. So what I mean by that is oftentimes the movement hasn't organized itself in a way to engage the younger generation in certain ways, and which is interesting because when you look at the development of the movement was started by young people, whether they considered themselves young at the time or not. It was started by young people, but at some point, it's like the movement kind of matured, and then it didn't necessarily see the need for engaging young people. And I say that because enough of the times, this is something that happens globally. When you look at movements, enough of the times, the children of those who are heavy and involved in the movement are not involved in the movement, let alone those that didn't grow up with parents in the movement, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? So I think the answer to the question is yes, but there's nuances. Like it's difficult to give a yes or no answer to that question.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I think there's a lot of responsibility that we have to take as people that have stayed on the road, so to speak, that we need to take in terms of the importance that we've even placed on, and not even just the importance, because every movement speaks about young people, but in terms of when they come, what are we doing with them, you know, or ourselves in it, if that makes sense. And are we expecting an overnight transformation? Because the elders them have gone through 20 years like on this road and have come through and developed certain sensibilities. Are we expecting the young people that just come to have adopted them sensibilities after coming to 1 or 2 meetings, 2 Kwanzaa celebration, an AOD here and there, and now we're expecting this reformed, you know what I'm saying, individual? Like there needs to be a space where people can transform, because the people that started the movement over here transformed and evolved in the movement. So once people come into the movement now, they need a space in the movement to be able to go through their own transformation and their own evolution without feeling rejected. And you know what I mean? Them kind of ways there. That's necessary at the moment. You know.
Okay.
So.
Just to clarify, you mentioned distractions and disturbances that sort of stop our young people being on the road.
Yeah.
Any particular examples of that?
I'll give 2. The first one is the road. If you look at if we look at how the movement was destroyed, a lot of the young people who had parents that were involved in certain things, that generation gap was severed by the introduction of mashing up the organizations and then introducing into disaffected so-called ghetto areas instruments that would create underground that would be destructive to the community as opposed to the constructive for the community, if that makes sense. So if I was born in 1985. When we grew up, we knew about the existence of certain illicit substances they call drugs, in our area, and people that we went to school with, used to shot, Now we never come.
You're gonna have to explain that terminology.
Sorry, shot is to sell.
Paraphernalia.
You know, paraphernalia.
Okay.
Like to sell drugs, basically.
Okay.
And when I was growing up, mostly when we was younger, it was a knife thing. Man used to carry knife on the road and then kind of things there. When I got to about 15, 16, it was more a gun thing. Guns began to take over. If that makes sense. So that's one example, in the sense of you grew up in an environment whereby it's the area is impoverished, and then you have a ready-made means to not be impoverished as an individual, if that makes sense. The consequence of that is that it destroys your ends. But at the moment you can give mummy some money for the rent, so to speak. That's what I'm saying. That's one area. The other one is university. And what I mean by that is
a distraction,
Yes, most definitely,
Okay.
Please elaborate. And a lot of people don't see it as a distraction because we're systemized in it. So we believe that the only failures in our community are the youths them on the road, which is wrong, in the sense of the fact that we've got more university graduates now than ever before in this country, but the movement is weaker than ever before in many ways, if that makes sense. So I'm saying that why isn't that university education being channeled towards the development of communities? We've got more university graduates, but we've got more poverty in the black community. You've got more youths on the road, more youths going to jail, more youths going to mental health institutions, and so on and so forth. With all the university degrees that we've got, and professionals and politicians, and so on and so forth. So I'm saying that obviously the university, in terms of the illusion that it creates, in terms of being involved in the system and being a product of the system, doesn't serve our people. So it's a distraction, because it doesn't make any sense that we can have all this success, quote unquote, and the black economy is still.
Just to be clear, so are you saying that we shouldn't be going to our young people shouldn't be going to university?
No, but I'm not saying that we shouldn't be going to university, and I'm not saying that we shouldn't be on the road either. Right, you see what I'm saying? I'm saying that both circumstances need to shift in ways that is productive towards the community. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm saying that we need to be on the road. because that's where our people are. We've never been a people, university or no university. We've always been people's people, if that makes sense. So we don't come up, we don't go to university now and forget about the road. You see what I'm saying? Right, we have to unify the road and the university in order to develop the road, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Tenda Mari, I can see Sister Kush.
Could you?
Relaxing and enjoying yourself, my dear sister. I'm going to move swiftly on to to Brother Raspek. Tenda Mari, Brother Raspek. Yes, my young brother. Now you have just for the sake of our listeners, if you can give some feedback in terms of your own background and how you came into this. Tenda Mari.
Yeah, I'm just a youth that's always kind of cared about my people, our position. I've always been against racism, you know what I'm saying? I fought against it the best way I knew how, you know what I'm saying? When I grew up, the best way to fight racism was to literally fight the pubheads that used to try to call us monkey or chase us out of the area, you know what I'm saying? We should chase them back out of their area and them things there. So I've always had that within me and always had that battle and that fight, but it's only coming towards the liberation movement. I can tell you a fundamental day of changing for me was after Mark Duggan was killed, a particular INAT meeting. I heard about an INAT meeting, and I went down there, and to see so many black people in the same room, with the same vision and the same mission was inspirational for me, to say the least. The vision of what I saw in that room, it wasn't really, I'm not expecting our people to be at liberation straight away. So I wasn't, but it was the vision of different organizations coming together, different political ideologies amongst black people coming together, putting our differences to one side and standing in solidarity for a common cause. And the common cause being our children's future, the future of our next generations. And this really inspired me to see this happening. And I think from that day, I was definitely much more in tune with the movement.
Right. Okay.
That was the day when I knew that I want to be politically involved with my community and the elevation of my community, and to see so many elders out there not really talking down to the youth who was out there in the riots, but describing it as an uprising and understanding the pain, the frustration and the agony that a black youth has, and articulating that on our behalf. To see our parents and our aunties and our uncles get together to do that was something that moved me. And I knew if the masses of black youth had seen what I had seen, it would have also moved them.
Okay, Tenda Mari. Sister Kai, you got a text there for us?
We do have a text, and this is from Brother Kwame, and he says, the vast majority of black youth don't overstand and do not give a hoot about black liberation. Many of them do not consider themselves as African and are more into integration and assimilation and material possession and European dogma like Christianity and Islam and European mode of thinking. Well,
okay.
he's told you.
Right, Tenda Mari.
Tenda Mari. Any responses?
Before we get a response, can we just now you're part of an organization, or you're one of the young. You're building a group of young people.
I'm just one of the spokesmen.
Right. Okay. Tell us a little bit about what the kind of things that you do.
So, me as Raspek Firebingi, I'm a political activist. I've one of my videos of a confrontation I had with the police went viral. I spoke at the Nation of Islam.
Could you just elaborate a bit more about this confrontation?
Okay,
and
police tried to basically stop and search me, and prior to that I'd been educating myself about the law and understanding that police had no right to stop and search you if they didn't have reasonable grounds. Reasonable grounds is they have to see, smell, touch or hear something that directly links that individual to a crime. And if they did not see, smell, touch or hear something that directly links that individual to a crime, they're acting out of prejudice. And if they're acting out of prejudice, then they're not acting in the constraints of the law. They have no right to stop and search. And 90% of the time when police have tried to stop and search me and most of the black youth that I speak to, they have had no reasonable grounds. They did not see, smell, touch or hear something that directly linked that individual to a crime. They simply saw that individual and believed that individual could have had criminal connections. And my thing is that the belief of that criminal connections may be from their own racist and prejudiced views that black people are have criminal intent above other races, which we know not to be the truth, because the most criminal race on the planet where historical fact is concerned is the people who are judging us to be criminals. So so my thing is that we're not even criminals, you know what I'm saying? Even if youths them that are on the road that they're calling criminals, the ones that they call robbers, well, this country done rob us and done owe us reparations.
Okay, so that interaction, you said it went viral and inspired a lot of young people and not so young people.
It went to about 300,000 views on the YouTube channel, where it was uploaded to other sites as well, where it hit about the same amount.
Millions.
So it's probably hit about millions.
Right, okay. Well, that's some tremendous work.
And another video which I created called Bloods and Crips Unite, that also went viral in America. The police brutality, the police one that I done went viral mainly in the UK and also in other countries, but the one with Bloods and Crips Unite went viral in America and actually helped to collaborate some of the Bloods and Crips that we see unite in Baltimore.
Right.
Now, and that was from the UK. That video, a lot of them Americans that watched that video believe that it was an American that made the video.
Okay.
But it's just that I'm so in tune with black liberation that no matter where you are, if you're black, then you're going to tune in to the frequency and vibration that I'm dealing with.
All right. Tena Mwari.
Can I answer that other question?
Yes, in terms of the BFBP.
Okay, yeah, BFBP is so that's bigger than Respect Fire Bingi now. BFBP is a collaboration of different black brothers from many different walks of life. It's a bit like INAP in some ways, but it's an ideology. It's not a political party.
Right.
And it's basically an ideology that means that no matter what our differences as black brothers and sisters, that we're gonna work to stand in solidarity to fight against the common cause. And that's basically what BFBP is. So BFBP, although it was spearheaded by a lot of Pan-Africanists and brothers who believe in building our own nation, and brothers like me who are more swayed to the side of segregation than integration, definitely. There's other brothers that support the movement that are swayed towards integration and believing that we can all work together. But the thing about these brothers and these sisters who are swayed towards that mind state is we all agree on the point that black people must have something of our own, and we all agree on the point that we must work together in order to create a better future for our next generation. So going to your original question as whether the youth are about liberation, I'm going to answer that, and when I answer it, let me put a disclaimer before I answer it and say I'm speaking to whoever this applies to. Yeah, so when we ask if the youth are about liberation, I would say the elders are not
if they're interested in liberation.
The elders are not interested in liberation.
True thing.
They're not interested. And I know it seems like a very, especially after that text that just came, the elders ain't interested in liberation.
True thing.
And,
well, you're getting an agreement. I don't know if that's the feeling of Sister Kush as well in Birmingham. Sister Kush?
It can feel like that.
Yeah.
Like that, you know.
Okay.
Can I articulate why?
Right. In a minute, we're just gonna. Okay, Sister Kai. Yeah. Sorry.
And the reason why I say this is because, and I'm gonna just point to clear things that have happened within the community, because that's all I can do. Like I said, I was very inspired by the INAP link up. Extremely inspired to see elders getting together. And the fact of the matter is, it wasn't 2 years, 3 years into me being inspired by the link up of INAP till I heard that a group of elders within INAP left INAP to start something else or something like that. Now, there's nothing wrong with people leaving organizations. But what I'm saying is, when you are about liberation, how can we expect the youth to be about it? We can't expect them to be, because when they're looking at the elders, if I wasn't so strong in myself and I didn't have so many strong people around me, you understand, then I'd see that and I'd leave.
Yeah.
I wouldn't come back to the movement. So what we have here is we have elders that don't understand that they have
just to
put
clarify for the sake of our listeners. These were 4 leading members of the executive body of the International African People's Parliament who resigned. I mean, we have made reference to it, and I know we're going to come to Brother Leader a little bit later on. But it was a pretty acrimonious situation. So
I don't really care what it was.
It must have had a detrimental impact on.
So I'm just saying, I don't really care what it is. You said you're going to get together and put your differences to one side for the liberation of our people.
That's the bottom
line. Like, if you can't be consistent, when I go to your next organization and you get tired with that and you move on to your next one, and then you get tired with that, and then in 2 years you move on to the next one. That's what we're not going to all agree. I'm not expecting us to all agree.
Right.
But this is what it seems like. So I'm just saying and I'm not even looking at individuals. I'm looking at a mindset. You understand? That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a mindset that doesn't understand that we don't have the time to argue about these things. There's an African proverb that says 2 brothers in a burning house should not argue. So what I'm saying is, Martin Luther King said he fears he's integrating his people into a burning house. And we're in that burning house. So what I'm saying is, once we get out the house or put out the fire and we built a new house and we're stable, we're strong, we know our children are fed and clothed and they're in a warm home, then maybe we can respectfully engage in conversation about our differences. But until then, I don't want to know about that. When I meet black people, brother Omwali, when I meet black people, I don't want to know about your religion. I don't want to know about your political idea. I don't want to know nothing. I just want to know if you're ready to put our differences to one side so we can build something so people can respect us. The Chinese have their own thing. The Indians have their own thing. Some of them are integrated. Some of them are not. But they have their own thing. And that's what I'm saying. We've got to be an level playing ground. So my thing is that until the elders can be serious about liberation as a mass, we can't expect the youth to be about liberation as a mass. But saying that now, the youths are about liberation, because I'm gonna hail up some youth who are about liberation regardless of this. You have the army who's forerunners in this thing. Alkebu-Lan revivalist movement youth. You understand? And the army's forerunners. Respect came in and saw the army. You understand? And Respect knows that the Alkebu-Lan's been going on longer than Respect's been born. You understand? So we know that there are youth who are about this thing. On top of that, you have the OBU in Birmingham, Organisation of Black Unity. And I haven't met all of OBU, but just from meeting Sister Kush, I can know that they are committed to the cause of the liberation of our people. On top of that, you have C4Ent in Manchester. These are brothers and sisters who make liberation music, music to uplift our people. This is their mission and their aim, and it's our duty as black people to make sure that we support that. We have the Moor Lions in Nottingham. These are brothers who was on the roads doing the damn thing. I'm talking about brothers that are top bosses. They're considered top bosses in their ends. And these brothers have stepped forward to the plate of liberation of our nation. BFBP is another representation of that. So what I'm saying is the youth are about liberation, and we're working together regardless of our differences. The elders still ain't got that. You understand? So when we're asking if the youth are ready, they've been ready, but it's up to the elders now to live what they're speaking. Because I heard a lot of elders speak. You know, at the INAC meeting, I heard a lot of elders speak about and I was inspired by this. But if you couldn't hold it down and say, boom, there's youth like Respect who come in and see me inspired by this, you're going to split the two. How are you going to split? Divide and conquer the Europeans' plan. That was his plan. So if we're still dealing with a divide and conquer mentality, we're not about liberation, and the youth are.
Okay, that's the word, sounds, and power of our young people, brothers and sisters. Tendai Mwari, Sister Kai.
Now this, 24-hour radio. And now this, 24-hour radio.
Galaxy Radio 102.5, our Philly station.
Then, my brothers and sisters, you're tuned to Africa Speaks with Alkebu-Lan on Galaxy Radio 102.5 FM, www.galaxyafiwi.com. Galaxy is the only de-brainwashing station. You were just hearing from Raspek Fire-Bingi, one of our guests in the studio, along with Brother Tafadzwa Shakara Mbandaka. Also from Birmingham, we have Sister Imani Kush Francis, who is Vice Chair of the Organization of Black Unity. Tendai Mwari. Well, we've heard our young people and how they feel about the elders. I want to bring forth one of our elders. I want to bring forth our spiritual leader, Brother Leader Mbandaka. Tendai Mwari, Brother Leader.
Tendai Mwari, Brother Mwari.
Now you've well, in terms of Raspek Fire-Bingi, you've heard how he feels about the contradictions that the elders are manifesting. He was inspired at the INAP meeting, and then subsequently, to use a technical term, bangarang, and then subsequently, it's a process of rebuilding. So, what can we do, as elders, my brother, to inspire the youth and keep them focused and keep them believing in their elders even?
Well, Tendai Mwari, well, first and foremost, to go back to the original topic and question.
Okay.
If I may,
yes.
Brother Omuwale, are young people
interested
in liberation work? And certainly we have seen examples this evening, or heard examples this evening, of young people who are not just interested in liberation work, but enthusiastic, eager about their role in fighting for and working for the liberation of our people, and who bring a range of skills and abilities to the liberation fight, and of course their youth energy. And in that sense, I also want to give thanks and praises to Mwari and Muzimukuru, God, our creator, and the ancestors, for the youth energy that has been floating through the airways this evening from the studio, or whether, from Skype, as in the case of our beloved Sister Kush, who has joined us from Birmingham, because that youth energy is vital to any liberation movement. A liberation movement without a mobilized, galvanized youth element is a dead or near dead, a dead or dying movement. So we cannot go forward there's no vision without our young people. This is why Baba Amilcar Cabral said that the children, the young people, they are the flowers of the revolution and the principal reason for our fight. We fight for them. We fight so they can have a better tomorrow.
Yeah.
We don't fight for ourselves. Yeah, we're moving up and out of this phase of the cycle of our existence, but they are the ones that are coming in and coming up, and they are the ones who are creating the new generation. They are the mothers and fathers of our new babies that are being born every day, so they are going to put the stamp on the next generation. So it's very, very important. The constructive critique that we have heard as well is one that has to be noted, because whatever compliments or criticisms we make of our young people, it always reflects on us as elders. We've got to understand our responsibility to our young people. And so if our young people are saying, well, look, what you're doing is creating a lot of confusion, your action is confusing our generation, then we need to look at that very seriously. I think what has happened, first and foremost, it's very inspiring to know that this young person was so uplifted, and was uplifted and was galvanized or magneted to the liberation movement through an experience he had of the International African People's Parliament calling a couple of emergency meetings and presenting or representing the community in a time of crisis. And this was a time of crisis where our young people were being picked up on the streets, and being summarily, arrested, imprisoned. There's some trumped up charges and all sorts of things. Thousands of our young people were picked up on the streets and so on. And the young people are looking for direction. And young people are able to say, well, we found a sense of hope and reassurance in coming to a gathering where our our elders were standing up and defending our integrity as young people, understanding what we were experiencing out there on the streets on a daily basis. I mean, I think we can take some credit. We can all take some credit for that. But then, our young people are saying, well, a few years later, you've confused us because you had this split, and I think it's not just the fact that there was a split, but I think it's the way it happened. The way that happened was, I think, most unfortunate. It should not have happened that way. It was public. It was without proper process and consultation. The people who are responsible for it, we have a council of elders to whom they could have sat down, spoken to, and sought direction and resolution and reconciliation. They did not do that. There were processes. We have an interim national organizing committee that has its own processes, has its own meetings within which these issues could have been raised and resolved. It did not have to be done in that public manner. We should have looked at the issues and tried to resolve them without them becoming public in the way that they did and without the acrimonious split that took place. We have got to take responsibility for that. There's no justification and there's no excuse, and I'm not going to make an excuse for anybody.
Okay.
Tendai Mwari.
Tendai Mwari, my brother. Just in terms of, sorry, Sister Kai, Tendai Mwari. Just in terms of reassuring the youth, though, I mean, do we have anything positive to say, right, okay, that is one aspect, but the fight still goes on. And
most definitely.
Mobilize around this.
Yes, Tendai Mwari. Most definitely, because what has happened since that split, INAP has picked itself up. And INAP is going through a recovery process and a forward planning process. And we went to the community. INAP has been to the community, has been consulting with the community since then. We did organize, we picked ourselves up and organized the National Black People's Day of Action. A few weeks ago, we had the General People's Assembly. We have in INAP, we have YNAP, which is a Young National African People's Parliament. We have our community law circle. We resumed our community law circle meetings last Ujima evening, every first Ujima or Tuesday evening of the month, and this will be ongoing. And that is the process through which we consult about the drafting and the developing of the Constitution that will be the operational and legal framework for the National African People's Parliament. So we are demonstrating to our young people that even in spite of a crisis, we can pick ourselves up, that we can reassess our situation, that we can get things back on track, and we can move forward again. And we invite our young people. YNAP is there. We invite our young people to get on board, get engaged, and let us continue the work. And we will get there. Unfortunately, at every phase of our development as a people, at every phase of our liberation fight, we have these awful acrimonious divisions and splits that take place for all kinds of reasons. Sometimes because there are external forces operating from within us. And fundamentally because we are so screwed up as a people. And after 500 years of the Ma'afa at the hands of the European and 1400 years of the Ma'afa at the hands of the Arabs, it is impossible for people to come out of all of that healthy and strong and fully disposed to organizing strong liberation movements. But we have to heal ourselves. We have to heal ourselves, and we have to be determined not to let these issues or elements defeat us.
Give thanks and praise, brother. Tendai Mwari, Sister Kai.
Tendai Mwari, we have a text and it says, no one can promise you reparations and mean it. But before the young people respond to this, just listen to this.
Bring your family and come celebrate our parents' and Ancestors' Day on Saturday the 6th of June 2015 from 2 p.m. through to 11 p.m. It's going to be taking place at the Leander Community Centre. That's on Ship Street, Deptford, SE8 4DH. And that's off Vanguard Street and Friendly Street. This is an event initiated and sponsored by Galaxy Radio Family in association with a coalition of organisations and businesses. And this is a day when we pour libation, beat drums and shower our ancestors and parents with love and honour And we must remember the sacrifice and struggle and dignity of all our great people who have endured so much so we could be here today. Bring your family and come celebrate our Parents and Ancestors Day.
Tendai Mori, a Dynamic Health Awareness Day, presented by the Natural Health Clinic for Health and Wellbeing, Sunday the 31st of May. The time is 3 till 5 p.m. at the Catford Broadway Theatre, Rushy Green. Featuring Dr. Stephen Ferguson performing his special live blood test demonstration. The admission is free. For further information, take this number, 0208 819 9477. This event is sponsored by Galaxy Radio. Africa Liberation Day 2015, Africa in the World Today. That is the theme, ALD 40 Years in the UK. And this is presented by the Pan-African Congress Movement on Sunday the 24th and Monday the 25th of May. The venue is the St. George's Community Hub, Great Hampton Row, Birmingham, B19 3JG. Featuring keynote address, Dr. Umar Johnson, Sister Queen Mother Nzinga Asata, Brother James Small, Brother Robin Walker, Brother Binny Brown. Africa Liberation Day has been celebrated worldwide since 1963. It is an occasion where African people worldwide focus on the fight for total liberation, reparation, and self-determination. If you'd like stores or more information, contact 07940 709 311 or 0208 801 0205. That's the Africa Liberation Day celebrations. Tendai Mwari.
Call in now on 07983 852 952 or 07538 005 634. Text in on 07572 222 156.
What time is it? When we come together, what time is it? When we respect each other, what time is it? When we get our self-confidence, what time is it? When we form our own political party, what time is it?
History is a clock that people use to tell their political and cultural time of day. It is also a compass that people use to find themselves on the map of human geography. History tells of people where they have been and what they have been, where they are and what they are. Most important, history tells a people where they still must go, what they still must be. The relationship of
Alkebu-Lan Nomo presents the Omawali Malcolm X 90th birthday special on Friday the 29th of May 2015. The X Agenda, Government versus Gangs. Message by Respect Fayabingi, Black Fist, Black Power, and Tabazwa Shakara Bandaka, Army, addressing how should we respond to police violence? Should we vote for change? What is the role of the streets? Momo, the Omawali Malcolm X 90th birthday special, the X Agenda, Government versus Gangs. Friday the 29th of May 2015 takes place at Mama Africa Culture Shop, 282 High Road, Leighton, London E10 5PW. Doors open at 7 p.m. and admission is a mere £3. Under 21s are free. Coming straight from work, don't worry, hot food will be on sale. Books, DVDs and educational materials are also on sale. For more information, contact 0208 539 2154 07908 814 152 www.alkebulan.org alkebulan.org
My brothers and sisters, yes, you're tuned to Africa Speaks with Alkebu-Lan on Galaxy Radio 102.5 FM, www.galaxyfewe.com. Galaxy is the only de-brainwashing station, brothers and sisters. Our subject matter this evening, are young people interested in liberation work? We're blessed to have some young people, 2 in our studio and 1 who is all the way in Birmingham, who we are connecting with via Skype. And we're also blessed to have our spiritual leader, Brother Leader Mbandaka, resident guest this evening, Tendai Mwari. Now, brothers and sisters, just to let you know, the lines are now open, just to confirm the jingles there. The lines are now open. The numbers again are 07 538 005634. That's 07 538 005634 or 07983 852 952. Those are the numbers, brothers and sisters, to interact with us on Tendai Mwari. Okay, I want to go to Sister Kush. Sister Kush, Tendai Mwari, welcome back. I know you've been quite engaged with what has been said. Now, what kinds of things, in your opinion, would attract young people to organizations? This is something I want to put to all our young people, but I want to start with yourself, my sister. You have mentioned some points, to be fair, in terms of the language, but what sorts of things can OBU and others do to attract young people?
Well, one of the main things I can say is looking at the issues that you're actually addressing, yeah? So we have to address issues that are relevant to young people.
Right.
We have to give them an opportunity to almost do for themselves. So, for example, I'm a teacher, okay? So if I see a child in my class not engaging, I have to think, okay, why is this person not engaging with me? Is it the language? Is the work too easy? Is the work too hard? Or if somebody is very hyper and overactive in the class, I have to ask myself, how am I going to address this constructively?
Mm-hmm.
And what you tend to find is when you give young people a role to fulfill, when you show them that they actually can contribute to something, yeah, and they have a position, right, they're likely to engage more. I mean, there's an African proverb that says, when the young are not initiated into the village, they will burn it down just to feel its warmth. And I think, the riots that happened in 2011 is a direct example of that, because they don't feel as though they have a position, they don't feel as though they have any value, so they seek value in other things like that person that texts in, the material things. That's where they seek value, because that's where they feel it. So we have to ask ourselves why, if that's where they seek their value, we have to ask ourselves, why is that? We have to provide an alternative discourse then for them to follow. So the things that OBU have been doing, like I said, is actually having young people leading other young people, because as much as the elders have the knowledge and the wisdom, how much of them know the language, how much of them have the energy even to interact, to listen to the young people, to speak with them in a language that they understand.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it does take a lot of effort, and you have to genuinely want it. Yeah, you can't see the youth as a threat because they might come and replace you. You have to see it as a strength, and we're not going to stay young forever. I mean, as much as I call myself a youth, other people might have a different opinion.
Indeed. Yeah, of course.
So, I feel, I remember going to certain events as a child, and like I said, kind of staring off into space, because I didn't think that they were talking to me, that they were addressing me. And nothing hurts me more when I go to events, and I will use African Liberation Day as one example.
Mm-hmm.
There's been times where I've seen young people sitting down on their phones, or they're going off into their own conversation, and they want to be there. They obviously want to be there, but they have to see that there's a role for them.
Right.
The gap that OBU is trying to...
Wonderful. Okay, thank you very much for that, Sister Kush. The lines are now open, and MX is our first caller. Give thanks and praises. Tendai Mwari MX. Are young people interested in liberation work, my brother or sister? Tenamore, MX? Okay, I can hear MX, I think. Okay, we're going to get back to MX shortly. Tenamore, our technical team are working feverishly to bring MX to us, but I'm going to put that particular point to Brother Shakara. Tenamore, my brother. What kinds of things, in your opinion, can be done to attract the young people to the liberation fight?
I was in December. The head of the African Hebrew Israelites, Abba Ben-Ami, passed away. And after he passed away, I was listening to an interview that he did with Muta Baruka. No, that wasn't even that. No, when we was at the memorial, over here, and Mama Yeshua, from the African Hebrew Israelites, was delivering this experience of him traveling here. And there was a quote that he had that she mentioned that he made in one of his speeches, where he said that vision must show results. That lifted off my head. I was like, "Rah, it's deep." Vision must show results. Now, for me, what can we do to attract black young people? Build and manifest the thing. There's nothing that attracts people more than the results of what you've been talking about, if that makes sense. So if we say we're about black business, let's build some black business to show the youths them, innit? This is what I'm saying. I think sometimes we spend a lot of time trying to sell the vision rather than trying to manifest it. And I think sometimes if we manifested it more often, and more, we focus on manifesting it more, we would attract the people that we're looking for. We're short on resources, but I think we can do more with the resources that we got. And I think sometimes the problem that comes with trying to sell the vision is that we over-sexify it. We make it sound sexy. Like, in the sense of, what I mean is, we talk about Marcus Mosiah Garvey, and we say, all right, the UNIA had businesses all over the United States of America and employed 1,000 people in Harlem alone. But then for every business that they had, somebody had to sweep the floor and clean the toilet, Black Star Line, big steamship company, 6 ships, somebody had to mop the deck. You see what I'm saying? And not only mop the deck, when it was a celebration, the maiden voyage of whatever, SS Frederick Douglass, but somebody had to mop the deck when the ship broke down, and somebody throw something in the engine and mash up the ship. Somebody still had to clean the deck. So I'm saying that if we over-sexify the vision, people are going to get disillusioned because they're coming to see black power fists and leather jackets and guns, But somebody had to teach the children and then clean the school after the children mess it up because they've been playing all day. You see what I'm saying? Somebody had to do that, I listened to Tupac, and Tupac said, you know what, he give thanks for his mum, because when it was cool to stand on the street and observe police and put black fists in the air, his mum came off the road to be in the house with him and his sister and teach them a thing or two. You see what I'm saying? And Tupac is such a... if I can come back to Tupac, I'll come back to Tupac. But I'm saying that if we manifested the thing more, then we'll be more on this thing. We'll attract more people.
Okay, Tenamore MX is back with us. Tenamore MX. Are young people interested in liberation work? In your opinion?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, not very loud.
Go ahead.
All right, let me get into my garden. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Is that better? Well, I just wanted to greetings to the panel.
Blessing, family.
I just wanted to raise a couple of points. Basically, my point number one. I heard Shakara say something about university was a hindrance to the what's it called, or a distraction
to the liberation fight. Yeah, distraction.
All right, and let me just and I can't believe that he said that.
Every time I say that, I get
a load of nonsense, and I show you why. I tell you why. Has the Alkebu-Lan revivalist movement ever thought to go down to a graduation fair and scoop up some of those graduates that are in need of something, want to be part of something?
You want to answer that?
Movement,
let him land. Go ahead, my brother. Continue.
Needs these graduates. Alkebu-Lan has marketing issues. That's why you don't have a lot of people coming to your things. If you want to go to Africa and build something, you're going to need civil engineers and people that know. You can go down to South Bank right now and you can go to their civil engineering department and you'll see a bag of black people. Are you telling me that these people would not be effective within the movement?
Yeah. Let me, alright, you ask a question, bro, and respect, 'cause I know who you are, so blessings, you know what I mean, and you disagree with a point that I made, so there's no disrespect, but The answer to your question is yes. I've spoken at bare universities. I grew up watching my dad speak at universities. And so the point I was making is not that we should not connect with universities. What I was speaking about is distractions, in the sense of the fact that when it comes to the function and the role and the impact that university has had on the black community, I am not seeing the benefits of it, in the sense of we have more university graduates and a poorer, more disaffected black community. So the two are not adding up. If university alone was a success story, then we would see the benefits of that in our community. We got more black university graduates, and the black economy as regards to business and infrastructure and services, is as destroyed and as mashed up as it was a generation ago. So it's not that university in and of itself doesn't serve. If you heard the latter part of what I said, when I was asked, it was asked to me, am I saying that black people should not be in university?
What organisation is he a part of?
No. You could ask him that. Oh no, you could ask him that, yeah. But I'm saying, and this is my last point. What I'm saying is, I did say, I am not telling black youth to come out of the university, and I'm also not telling black youth to come off the roads. I'm trying to change the reality of both. So even in terms of the work of INAP, we have been to universities. I've been to Oxford University. I went to Oxford University with respect, to speak to black youth at the top university in the UK and possibly in the world.
Man, come on, are you serious? You're telling me, family, that you went to Oxford. Who cares about Oxford?
Fam, I've been to Oxford, I've been to Birmingham, I've been to South Bank, I've been to Westminster, I've been to UE, I've been to University of East London, I've been to University College London, I've been to bare universities. I stay in universities, so it's nothing. Yeah. So what I'm saying to you, the answer to your question is yes.
Let me man, Carl. This is my point, innit? How many black businesses right now have crappy websites?
No, but that's a different subject right about now. No. That's a different subject.
Let me speak.
Yeah.
Okay.
Youngblood.
Jesus.
MX.
Sorry. Yeah.
MX. Before we stray to the subject of websites, let's go to let's hear a response from Raspek Firebingi. Yeah, he's another one of the brothers and sisters on the panel.
For Raspek Firebingi as well.
Sorry?
Because I heard Raspek Firebingi say something that wasn't true.
Yeah, well, let him respond.
Well, you might want to hear what he said first. What he thinks.
Let him respond.
Yeah, what he thinks about what I said.
Okay, go ahead.
What was your problem
MX?
with what I said, MX?
I mean, he was saying something about stop and search. Yeah. I can't repeat it verbatim, but what he said was inaccurate. And it was something to do with how and why people get stopped and searched, or.
I said 90% of the black boys that I've spoken to have said when police have stopped and searched them, they have not had reasonable grounds. That means they did not see, smell, touch or hear something that directly linked that individual to a crime. Those were my exact words, brother.
Okay, all right. You finished, yeah?
Yeah, what was the contention now, bro?
Let me ask you a question. Have you ever heard of a Section 60?
Terrorism Act? Gone?
No. That's not terrorism.
That's 45. What's that one? Not terrorism act.
Section 60. Police don't really do it that often anymore. But Section 60 is when the police put down a area, and because of an incident within an area, it means that anybody within that area
is stop and searchable.
Yeah. What's your point?
So my point is, if you're in that area.
No, I'm not talking about people that are stopped and searched because of Section 60, brother. I'm talking about brothers that are standing up on the road and been told by police officers that they've been stopped and searched because they're wearing a hoodie. I'm talking about brothers that have been standing up on the road and have been stopped by police officers because they say they can smell cannabis. I'm talking about brothers that are driving a car and police have stopped their car because they believe that brother is doing criminal activities to be driving such a car. I ain't talking about no Section 60.
Okay, go, come back, MX.
This is what I don't understand. Why can't we have an honest conversation? You've got a lady in there or on Skype from Birmingham. She will tell you about what's going on with the Johnnies and the Burgers once upon a time.
Yeah?
They are killing each other.
Yeah.
Black guys are killing each other.
Okay.
Black guys in hoods are killing each other.
Yeah, and white people are killing black people, and white people are killing Palestinians in Iraq. What's your point?
Listen to this guy. We're not talking about white people.
No, but what's your point? What's your point? We know that. I'm a brother that was involved in that.
Okay.
What's your point?
Young man, let's MX, get to the crux of your point, because we got to move on. We got other callers.
I hear that. You got other callers, yeah? My point is simply this, right? You can't come on radio and paint these weird, strange pictures. We've got to be honest. Black boys, yeah, we are killing each other. So if you're getting stopped and you're getting searched, no, let me say something else actually.
Real quick, bro. We got to move on.
Go to the radio.
Come on.
I was the vice chairman of the Lewisham Stop and Search Group. Yeah, so I know Stop and Search. I'm in Stop and Search.
Okay, make your point.
When you look at the statistics, because black guys were killing black guys, carrying knives, of course you're going to get stopped and searched.
I'm not talking about that.
All right, we're gonna.
Okay, let me finish my point now. I'm not talking about that. I understand that we're fighting each other, and when we're fighting each other and we get stopped and searched because there is reasonable grounds, then that's not the problem. The problem is that a police officer can't look at a black youth.
Let him finish, MX.
A police officer can't look at a black youth and say, because these black youth round here have been fighting, I'm going to stop and search that you. That is not allowed. That is not lawful. Let me also say this. It's people with the mind state of the text that was sent, and people with the mind state and the voice and the energy that brother who just rang in named MX called in, which is why the youth don't engage with the liberation movement, because there's no sense of love, no sense of understanding. All it is point finger, point finger, point finger. You're doing this, you're doing that, you're doing this. Who are you? I don't know about you, MX. I've never heard about you, MX. Most people haven't heard about MX and what MX is doing for the black community. And anyone who is doing stuff for the black community, because I'm out here, I'm definitely out here, I ain't got nothing to say about no one else. You know why I've got nothing to say about no one else? Because I understand that all of these organizations are doing their very best with the resources where their people are concerned. So when I speak and I criticize from a place of love. I criticize from a place of family and building. No one ain't got no time to hear that, Tonkas. But know this.
But you know what?
Let's leave MX. Let's leave MX.
I have to just one point. This has to get addressed.
We have to say thank
it has to get addressed. No, I don't mind. No, I'm not saying he has to be on the phone. I'm just saying this point has to get addressed. Right? This point has to get addressed. Yeah. This point has to get addressed. Raspek spoke earlier. Yeah. Right, about organizing youth groups from not just London, you know, all about the place.
Come on.
Yeah? And I'm talking, we are connected with youths that are in things and doing things that are trying to now come out of what they were doing previously, right? In terms of the same youths that was killing each other, like you said, and selling whatever to each other, and each other are now trying to fight for liberation. Different. So I'm saying, really and true, and we ain't even started yet. Let's be real. Cause we're doing certain things, but we ain't started yet. We ain't started yet. So I'm saying, so when it comes to that issue, we're addressing that too. It's not that we are not addressing that. So
actually, no. Let me finish by saying this. You talking about black youths killing each other?
Quick respect.
No, yeah. I'm gonna keep it quick. You're talking about black youths killing each other, yeah? This is what I'm gonna tell you about black youths killing each other. You're talking about we're not addressing these issues. BFBP, which is a movement that I'm a part of, yeah, is the biggest thing in the UK right now, stopping black youth from killing each other.
No joke.
We have brothers in Tottenham, we have brothers in North, South, East, West, Nottingham, Wolverhampton, Birmingham, brothers who was really killing each other, really involved in this thing, that are now fighting for the liberation of their people. So it's not like we're not addressing that issue, but we're not going to address that issue from the tone that you came with, because that's ineffective with our people. That's ineffective with those gang members. We address it from a place of love, respect, and
all right, Tenamrai, brother leader.
King, let me make one last point, please. One last point. As far as
I'm faced
the whole thing is, sorry. As far as hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
As far as this whole thing is, who is MX, brother? It's not about names. This is the problem. It's not about celebrity.
It's not about celebrity. It's about what you're doing. Who are you?
Mad hard in the community. Mad hard. It's true. My name's not banging
Can't hear you properly.
MX. All right, MX.
You're slightly off.
MX. I don't know if you're still in the garden or whatever, but your line is
slightly distorted.
We can't hear you as effectively, my brother.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you a lot better. Stay where you are, my brother. Brother Leader just wants to engage with you 1 second. Hold the line, my brother. Go ahead, Brother Leader.
Yeah, tonight, Moari. MX, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Brother Leader.
Okay, thanks very much for your call. Just a couple of questions I want to ask, and I want to try and do this very quickly. So try and give me short answers, if you could, please, okay? See if we can make some progress with this thing, all right? Can I just ask you, have you ever attended a meeting of the Alkebu-Lan revivalist movement?
I was at your last one, King. I was the first person to put my hand up and ask a question.
That wasn't an Alkebu-Lan meeting.
That wasn't... Are you talking about the
INAP meeting?
The INAP General People's Assembly?
The International African
The International African People's Parliament General People's Assembly.
The international... Sorry, say that again.
The International African People's Parliament, INAP General People's Assembly. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I attended something not too long ago.
Okay, that's a INAP. That's an INAP meeting. There was an INAP meeting. Okay.
I know, but I attended your AGM.
We don't have an AGM.
We don't have an AGM,
No,
my brother.
we're just one of the organizations that belong to the International African People's Parliament.
Do you know if you've ever attended an Alkebu-Lan event?
Sorry, say that again. Sorry.
Do you know whether you have ever attended an Alkebu-Lan event?
An Alkebu-Lan event.
An event put on by the Alkebu-Lan revivalist movement.
There was a Omawale. Somebody was... Shakira was on the flyer. He was rapping.
OMX Storm.
OMX Storm.
OMX Storm.
Uh-huh. How many people you think was at that event?
He was rapping there.
Sorry?
Yeah, they had a guy that was rapping there. I don't know. Was that an Alkebu-Lan thing?
Yes, it was. Yes. How many people was at that event?
I didn't count.
You didn't count. Would you agree? Would you agree it was packed out?
I'd say, would I agree with... it was a good turnout.
No, it was packed out. Standing room only.
This brother's funny.
No,
Is that correct? Right or wrong?
No. I had a seat, so no.
No, other people.
Okay. No, we're in the season of politics. That's a political response. The event was packed out. It was mainly young people that were there, and it was a powerful event. I'm sure if you think back objectively, that's what you would tell the people. But let me not press that argument, because you made a point that we need marketing. Alkebu-Lan needs. Sorry.
You're trying to work out whether I came or not.
No. Let's not confuse the issue. But let's move on from that because that was just one event. I could name a number of others, but let's move on from that. Let's just come very quickly to the point that you made. And I want to try and deal with this very quickly. Let's come to the point about black youths killing black youths. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you aware of when the proliferation of gun crimes and gangs started in the African community in this country?
In this country?
Yeah.
I'd say around, I don't know, 1980s, late 80s, early 90s, when crack cocaine became big business within the black community.
Right. Okay. All right. You're roughly correct. Are you aware of Operation Jackpot?
Operation Jackpot, I am aware of.
Stoke Newington Police Station got busted in 1993.
Is that the one where they had yardies that were coming back and forth? They were paying for people to come and make.
That's the one where police officers were found to have been engaged in drug racketing
in Hackney.
Yeah, Stoke Newington Police Station, where they were engaging young people in the community in drug rackets, gun crimes, etc., etc.
Yeah.
You're aware of it?
Yeah. Somewhat, yeah.
Are you aware of the Eaton Green trial?
The Eaton, say that again?
The Eaton Green trial.
Eaton Green.
Eaton Green. In the 1990s, mid-1990s. Eaton Green.
Was he the Jamaican guy that was coming back and forth?
The so-called Yardie, who was carrying out atrocities in the black community.
Yeah.
Drug rackets, carrying guns.
Coming back.
Yeah.
And he got back into the country like 2 or 3.
And he was given cover by the Metropolitan Police. That went to court, and he said that the police promised to give him the police promised to
immunity,
to give him immunity, or something words to that effect.
Yeah.
You aware of that?
Yeah.
Okay, and you'd be aware of the Delroy Denton trial, similar trial, 1990s.
Denton, I know the name.
What did you deduce from that, in terms of how the gun crimes and gang crimes come into the African community?
Well, I mean, I'm more familiar with the
accommodation.
Can you see the hand of the state in this, my brother? That's the question I'm asking you.
Sorry?
Can you see the hands of the state in the proliferation of gun crimes and gangs in our community?
Yeah. I mean, look.
Okay.
No, listen. Let me just make this one point.
No, I think the point has been made, my brother.
No. There are no guns made in Africa. So wherever we find guns on this planet, you know there was a white hand that pushed it that way. No guns. The Kalashnikov is a Russian gun.
All right.
Even name all the other ones. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Israel, the US, we know this. But the problem is, it gets into black hands, innit? That's the problem. Regardless of how it gets into black hands, it gets into black hands.
Well, you can't say regardless. If you have powerful forces, my brother, behind this whole thing, you've got to understand that the same source of white police officers brutalizing and killing young black people on the streets is the same political source of black on black crimes. This is what we have to understand. And you must understand that in our history, in America, in the Caribbean, what has followed movement, what has followed the Black Power movement to go up against the state and challenge state oppression, is the infiltration of black communities with guns and drugs and gangs. That is, my brother, a standard response to black consciousness and black power activism against European oppression in African history.
Okay.
Sir, I hear that. But let me just
last point, please, MX.
Last point. I've been shot at twice. Never from a white man. Always from a brother. Explain that to me.
All right.
Well,
I just did, my brother. I just explained to you the source of the proliferation of gun crimes in our community. So if we want to solve any problem, my brother, you have to go to the cause. Yeah. If you have a headache, my brother, and you go to the hospital or go to the doctor, and the doctor simply treats your symptoms, but do not investigate the cause of the headache. You could have a brain tumor, my brother, and we could continue to give you paracetamol or Panadol or aspirin. It may ease the pain, but the deadly cancer is still growing inside of you. So let's look at the source of the problem and not just the symptoms.
Yeah, right.
Tendai Mwari.
We have to give thanks, MX.
Right. MX, I'll still come on your radio show when you're ready, yeah, family? Nothing.
Tendai Mwari, brothers and sisters, you're tuned to Africa Speaks with Alkebu-Lan Galaxy Radio 102.5 FM, www.galaxyfb.com. It's getting hot in here, brothers and sisters. Galaxy is the only deep brainwashing station. Tendai Mwari.
The number to call
is...
Call in now on 07983 852 952 or 07538 005 634. Text in on 07572 222 156.
Tonight, my brothers and sisters, yes, you're tuned to Africa Speaks with Alkebu-Lan Galaxy Radio 102.5 FM, www.galaxyfb.com. The lines are bubbling now, brothers and sisters. Sister Kai, who we got on the line?
Princess Kanedu. Tendai Princess Kanedu.
Tendai
Princess, you sound very young.
I'm 11 years old.
Yeah.
All right. Hello. Princess Kanedu, are young people interested in liberation work? Did you want to answer that question, or did you have something else you wanted to say?
I just wanted to comment on when the man from MX said that black people are going against each other. I would just like to say that they're going against each other because this is how it starts when black people are criticizing each other. Like, this is how black people going against each other. This is how it's
Come on, sister.
So him saying that, him doing what he's doing and criticizing Alkebu-Lan is not the way to
Move forward.
on how to stop black people going against each other.
Come on.
Not the way for black people to.
Yes, little sister.
Okay.
Just want to say that.
Oh, all right. Thank you very much, Princess Konedu. Tenamare. I want to bring in. I don't know if you got another caller straight away. I just wanted to bring in Sister Kush. I know you had. I know you wanted to. I know you wanted to respond to some of the things that were being said. Sister Kush.
Yes.
Go ahead, my sister.
Wow. Well, I hear there is a lot of passion, and that's what I'm talking about. That passion there needs to be tempered and qualified to be used constructively, and I think the princess that called in made that point. All the energy we can be putting in into criticizing each other, let's build that. Let's build, innit? Like, it's. I think as forward-thinking African people, those kind of arguments that we're engaging in, the energy, the effort it takes, could be better spent, from my experience. You understand what I mean? Now, one thing I do have to say, one of the main inspirations for me, I think it was a couple of years ago, I came to a Mosiah event that Alkebu-Lan put on in, it was a park in Brixton, and I saw probably about 10 to 12 young people, younger than me, much younger than me, reciting some Garvey speeches, and I had to look at myself and say, look at this. Now, shamefully, I remember when I was growing up, I was part of the Brownies. I still remember the Brownie guide promise, right? Because it was a mantra, yeah? So
the what promise, sorry?
Brownies.
The Brownies. All right, okay, right.
I was part of that, and you get to learn the mantra, you get to know the politics, you get to know the principles of whatever you spend your time around. So my point is that young people, especially like the princess that just called in, it starts from that age. It starts earlier. You understand? So you can't expect a youth to come out of university and be on liberation when they've never heard liberation before. They've never seen examples of liberation. They've never been to a youth conference. They've never been, they've never been engaged in anything. They're not going to come out of university and think, oh, how can I build my nation, if they've never seen examples of that.
That's
you know
it.
what I mean? You teach a child when they're young. So when children are 2, 3, 4, 5 years old, they need to see pictures of Garvey. They need to see parents reading. They need to be involved in events. They need to be at Saturday schools. It starts from they're young. You don't wake up one day and decide, okay, I want a nation build. You understand what I mean? So we have to plant these seeds from they're younger.
Mm-hmm. But clearly, my sister, the work...
Fruit or vegetable, more like... you plant the seed, you water the seed, and you may not see it sprouting. You may not think anything's happening. Then slowly, you see this thing popping out the ground, and you think, all the work's been happening underneath. And I think if we think along those analogies there, then conversations like this wouldn't be happening, because we would already know that there's no purpose to it. You understand what I mean? So the passion that I'm hearing from that brother MX that called, I think, he obviously has a lot to say. He obviously can articulate himself very well. But why not use words of power? Why not use words of love? Why not use words of upliftment?
Okay.
Use anything at all. You understand what I mean?
Give thanks, Sister Kush. Tenamari, we have another caller on the line, Brother Bob. Tenamari, Brother Bob, welcome to Africa Speaks with Alkebu-Lan. Brother Bob.
Good evening.
Good evening, Brother Bob. Go ahead.
Good evening to the panel. Yes, I would like to make a contribution by first reacting to the quote. Vision must show results.
Mm-hmm.
The brother there, he mentioned a quote, and he was very impressed by the quote.
Very Shakara, yes.
Right. So then you got a brother who was phoning and talked about police stop and search. Right. So let's try to put these two things together. So I know about INAP, right? So the young brothers, right? Have you got a separate name for your organization?
Okay.
Yeah, the brothers belong to different organizations, my brother. We'll come back to that in a moment. Please try and make your point.
Excuse me, wait a minute. What? You're going to cut me off already?
No, I said, Brother Bob,
All right.
that the brothers belong to different organizations. They'll give that information near the end of the show.
I might be able to help, Sister Kai. They are also part. There is a YNAP, a young or a youth interim National African People's Parliament. Brother Shakara is one of the co-chairs of YNAP. Is that correct?
Thanks, Robert. So
right. Okay.
Hear this now.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever if I was to come to one of your meetings, yeah, and I was to leave that meeting, would I have anything to take away, which would prove that I came to your meeting?
Right.
My brother, there's always something to take away. The most important thing is that we give out dates for our meetings. Come to our meetings, and then you'll be able to answer that for yourself. But everybody that has come to the meetings, the majority of people that have spoken to us have been uplifted and have something to take away.
All right, wait a minute. Hear this one.
All right, quick, Brother Bob, quick.
So basically, right? Have you got a small card, right, that I could put in my holder? That if I was to stop by the police, right, I could take this card out, right, and I could show the police that I'm connected to an organization, and there's a phone number on the card. And
let me let Brother Leader deal with that, my brother, the co-chair of INAP.
Tendai Mwari. Have you heard of INAP, my brother?
I'm speaking about INAP, brother. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you been to INAP meetings?
I've never been to an INAP meeting.
Okay. And I would presume you haven't signed up to INAP.
Okay. No.
You haven't. Well, you see, the young brothers talked about putting things into practice.
Yes.
Not just talking about, but putting things into practice.
Yes.
The vision of INAP is about transforming theory into practice.
Yes.
We want to build a national body that can represent our people at all levels of society. And the ideas that you are reflecting on presently constitute part and parcel of what we're trying to achieve through INAP. That we have a powerful national representative body, that the people throw their weight behind in our hundreds of thousands.
Yes.
And so that when this body stands up to speak on behalf of the people, the powers that be know that this is a body that has galvanized hundreds of thousands of African people behind this body and therefore has to be respected. This is a body with some resources. This is a body with some power. And so you will have your membership card. In fact, we have membership cards now. We just don't have the clout that we will have in a few years' time when people like you sign up to INAP.
Brother Leader.
Thank you very much, brother.
Are you with me?
Have you got casual cards?
I'm sorry?
The old public could get hold of.
Tendai, my brother, I'm sorry. Tendai Mwari. Sorry, Brother Bob. We could sit down there. You keep continuously asking us, have we got this? Have we got that? The most important thing is we need people to join to create all these things that we need. That is just one of the many things we need. Join up and help us to create.
We have the structure. The important thing is, my brother, is that we've put the structure in place.
We need people.
The structure is now in place to establish that national body that can represent our people. But for that body to have power, the people have to endorse that body by signing up to the vision, to the mission, and getting involved in the work.
Okay.
Do you understand that, brother Bob?
Brother Leader Mandaka, I would like to go down to AD photographics, right? This is what I would like to do. I would like to go down to AD photographics in Peckham, and I would like to pick up a little card with your INAP on it, your logo on it, with your number on it. So therefore, I'll have it in my wallet. So therefore, any time in my life that I would like to get in contact with you, or refer to you, or introduce you to somebody else, it's an introductory card I'm talking about.
We've answered that, my brother. We say we need people to join us to make all these things happen. There's many things we need. We just need people to do it.
If you sign up to INAP now, you get a membership card.
No, I don't want a membership card. I just want a look.
All right, that's okay, my brother. We heard you. We heard you. You said what you need. We're saying we need people.
Brother Bob, you said you need a card that when you take that card out of your wallet, people respect the fact that you are part of this body that it has some clout, has some power. Something like that you said. You remember saying that? Yes?
Yeah, he wants the casual.
You remember that?
All right, let's
Is
leave,
he gone?
Yeah, let's leave Brother Bob.
Okay, Tena
All
Moore.
right, thank you for your call, Tena Moore, Brother
We
Bob.
have Brother Simba on the line. Tenda Moore, Brother Simba. Tenda Moore, you have to raise your voice, sir, please.
Raise your voice, Brother Simba.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, very interesting debate and discussion, and I think part of it shows that we still have a lot of work to do, even in the so-called conscious community that we speak of. There's still a lot of work to do. No disrespect to the brother MX that phoned up earlier. I'm hoping that MX isn't any tribute to the great Baba Omawali Malcolm X. If so, the name to me needs to be revised and quickly. I want to big up the young brothers in the studio and Sister Kush in Birmingham for the great work and the great show today. There's two quick points and then a question to the panelists. I personally believe, what was spoken about, a point that Brother Rasbik made about coming to INAP and then the split. And to me, as far as I'm concerned, if you're serious about, especially about the young people, and building a better future for the young people, regardless of what the issues are that you have, yeah, a split is of no benefit to anybody. Because at the end of the day, if the cause is important enough, you will stay around to ensure that these differences are, sorted to move forward for the betterment of the next generation. A lot of these people who have these issues, and I make a lot of these points, when they go to work, they may have a point of view at work. What the manager says or the person at the top says, it don't go so. They just humble themselves and continue with the program. They don't get up and walk out of work and look for a next job. They stick around because Master said this is how it's going to go.
Okay, please move to your second point, young brother, because time is against us. We have to finish at 10. Please.
No problem. There's Brother Emmett was saying, there's a viral video going around at the moment in America, in the same area where two men, a white man and a black man, was walking around with a legal gun. This was all a play to see how it would work out. The police got out the car for the white man, asked him why he's carrying around a gun in broad daylight like that. Is it really necessary? And told him to put the gun away and go about his merry business. In the same area, they stopped the black man. About 5 or 6 cars pulled up, put the man on the floor. Had the man handcuffed the man, and it's all a legal gun. Now, what this brother MX is talking about this P60 thing, it's irrelevant. It doesn't mean anything, because at the end of the day, once the police see a black man, whether he's carrying a gun or not, whether he's in any situation or not, a black man is seen as a threat. I've been stopped in the name of P60 many, many times, and if you ask the police, is this a P60 zone? It's not. So even in the name of P60, they're stopping people. But young people don't have the wherewithal to ask them if this is a P60 zone or not. So MX, you need to realize that what the law says and what the law does is two completely different things. And the question I want to ask...
Real quick now, son.
Say again? Quickly,
please.
Question I want to ask to the panel is, I'm not sure if you've heard about the Jay-Z and Beyonce regarding Baltimore. They spent a few $100,000, near $1 million, basically bailing out a lot of African young people who were arrested as part of the riots. I want to ask if you've heard about it, and two, do you think this is of any significance to the liberation fight?
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm going to put that question straight to the young people. Let me put it quickly to Sister Kush first. Then I'm Sister Kush.
Tendai Mari. Can you just clarify one part of the question? He's asking if we support the idea of the big bailout for the young people, and if we think it's...
Right, I thought it was... all right, okay.
That's what he's asking. If did we hear about it, and did we...
All right, is that the term, the big bailout? Okay, all right.
Well, I was just rephrasing it as that.
Oh, I see.
No, personally, no, I haven't heard of it. Do I think it's a good idea? Yes, because I think it reassures the young people that their own people are not seeing them as criminals, and that there is a level of understanding as to why these things are happening. So, whereas for me personally, I may not want to see any of the young people that I know, any young people in my community out rioting and engaging in certain things, because it's not nice to witness. Yeah, I can understand that. And if we're gonna demonize our own young people and act like we don't understand why they're doing certain things, then who else do they have to turn to? So I think they need that confidence to know that we've got their back, the ones that's on the outside, so to speak. So I think it is important.
Okay, give thanks, my sister. Rathbek Firebingi? All right, hold on, Rathbek Firebingi. Shakara, go. All right, we got to call her, Sister Kai. Sorry. Tenamrai,
hold on, Tenamrai. Before we take that call,
okay,
I'd just like to read this text. It says, great show, but remember, young people, as you mentioned before, we must put our differences aside, and we will come across people who don't agree with us, but always remind each other of the common goal. Next texter, 8285, says, it's time we take responsibility and stop blaming other people. We need to sort out the family structure. Too much single mother. Is that down to white supremacy?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. And last texter at the moment.
Right.
Sorry. Can people who are hidden migrants join INAP?
Okay. Right. We got a caller on the line, and we're gonna have to go to close. I don't know if you can put it in your closing comments.
Just a quick point.
All right.
Just a quick point. Isn't it amazing when we have these discussions and people throw up all kinds of subjects, and you address them with facts and information, and people they move the goalposts. So we've gone now to young teenagers. Another subject for another time. Young mothers, single mothers. I couldn't remember the terminology. So we're gone to that now. Yeah. So we've addressed a number of issues with facts and information, corroborative facts and information, and so we've switched the goalpost now to young pregnant mothers.
But to be honest, I really have to. Sorry, Shakara. We're going to have to take the caller. Please, can you put it in? Can you put it in your closing comments, because we have to go soon.
Tenamar, Sister Handa, can you make your point very tight? Sorry, we have to bring the program to a close. Tenamar,
my sister.
Well, I just wanted to. That was my princess, by the way, for the listeners. Them.
Showing off, it said.
Nice. All your studio guests and Sister Kush in Birmingham from OBU. I think you're all doing fantastic works.
Thank you.
And also, I just wanted to say. Well, I was going to say a few other things, but like Brother Leader just said, when people are addressed with facts, then we find all different ways of deviating, because I don't want to even really give my brother MX certain levels of attention, but at the same time, Raspek dealt with what he was saying. Brother Shakara shut it down when he's talking about he's been to universities, and I went to South Bank University, and what we don't want to address is the white supremacist system that we're dealing with and how we're educated in universities. Because like he's saying, we do need those engineers, but if the engineers do not have an African-centered mindset and understand what their education is for, it's useless. So when people have brought him the facts, and I think as a generation, like one of the guests said, it's yes and no. It's not a straightforward answer of whether young people want liberation. I think we are definitely fed up with our conditions and how we're living, but we're not willing to take it to that next level.
Right.
And do the sacrifices that our elders.
My sister.
Do the sacrifices that our elders did, and much more, and take it to that next level to do the things that we need to do. And when Raspek is saying what he's saying in terms of who is MX, the brother shouldn't take it as a celebrity thing. It's a case of we should be able to identify MX as somebody who is working in the community. If he doesn't act like what he's hearing now, he thinks it's dishonest, then do the work to make sure it's honest.
Right. Sister Nahanda, I'm really sorry.
But to do the physical, practical work.
Right. Sister Nahanda?
As honesty. Tenamrai,
I'm really sorry we're going to have to leave it there, but thank you very much for your points. All right. We have less than 5 minutes. My guests this evening, so we're going to have we need to have some very tight closing comments. I'm going to start with Sister Kush. I want to say, Tatenda, thank you very much for being part of our program this evening, Sister Kush. You've enlightened and uplifted many of us. Please give your closing comments. Please keep it tight. Tenamrai.
Okay, I'll keep it as tight as I can. In closing, wow. In closing, I would like to say, yes, I'm a defender of the youth. right? I consider myself a youth myself. The youth are interested in liberation, yeah, but the youth need to be led by example. That's one of the main things, lead by example, yeah. So rest assured that there are organizations out there that are targeting the youth, trying to fill that gap. One of them being the organization that I'm vice chair of. That's the Organization of Black Unity. Our website is www.blackunity.org.uk. And like I said, as an example of what we're trying to do for the youth, we are having our first annual Malcolm X Youth Conference this Saturday at Birmingham City University. And you can book those tickets online by going to our website. I'd also like...
What's the web address, sis?
The web address is blackunity.org.uk.
Right. Okay, well, thank you very much. Give thanks and praise and keep up the wonderful work that you're doing up there in Birmingham. Tena Mwari.
Okay, thank you very much.
Respect Fire Bingi.
Well,
been a pleasure having you on our program this
more
evening.
love, I'm gonna keep it
and plenty fire in the building this evening.
I have to apologize to her because I can't take foolishness, you know. And like I can't take the Uncle Tom, I can't take things that ain't, you know, like we're just simple things. But as we know, we asked if you've about liberation. Well, the most liberation comment that we've added today was 11 years old. Our young sister, Princess Konedu, you understand, who dropped the jewels. Yeah, and all of these elders who rang in, all they could do is incite division and criticize in some type of way. This is why I say the elders ain't about no liberation. That's why the thing I do is not for my generation, nor is it for the generation above me. Because there's a thing Frederick Douglass that said that you can, it's easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. And we got some phone calls from some, what I believe to be broken men. Their spirit within the African liberation and their spirit within faith for their people and their political has been broken completely and shattered by white. It's not their fault. It has been shattered by white supremacy. You understand? So now they step up because the reason why, and when I asked the brother who you are, I'm not asking you on no celebrity status thing, but if you was from the Nation of Islam, yeah, I would more hear what you're saying because I see them out there. But the Nation of Islam doesn't have no time to be fighting other black liberation movements on no phone. You understand? Because they're about a mission. You understand? So that's why I asked who you are. Who can vouch for you? You understand? Because people that are really out here and about this ain't got no time for that. Yeah? So I'm going to finish by saying that right now, we're seeing that our people are very sick. You understand? Because a brother rang in, and he was asking about cards. And I said, yo, did that man just spend 5 minutes asking if he could get a card? Just get the Facebook now, come down to the shop and get a number for someone. You know what I'm saying? But man's fixated on a card. We're not fixated on liberation. We want to find out if we can get a card and put it in our wallet. And we want to speak about that for 5 minutes. Like our children ain't dying. So I'm going to just end it in saying that if I ain't got no time. I ain't got no time for all of this. I'm not trying to change down to no MXs and no Claudes. I'm not here for you. Yeah, I'm here for everyone that is genuinely about the liberation of our people. Genuinely about putting our differences to one side and building something for that next generation. I'm not just talking about one generation. I'm talking about generations after generations after generations, so we can take our rightful place in creation as Africans. Respect Fire Bingi, Tendai Mari, signing out.
All right, Tendai Mari, right. That 5 minutes has kind of elapsed now, so you're going to have to achieve the impossible now. Right, okay. Right, Tendai Mari, Brother Shakara, closing comments from you.
Tenamar. I just want to say that debating is good and all these things. I think right now I'm like Kush. I'm on the maturer side of youth, yeah. And my thing is I'm less interested in winning in the debate than I am in organising the people, if that makes sense. And that might come with some debating, but for me right now, it's about what we're doing here. When I link up with BFBP and we get together to manifest something, how that manifests and functions itself. When we all go down to Organisation of Black Unity's Malcolm X Youth Conference, at Birmingham University,
Malcolm X MX.
right. That's what it's about, yeah. So I'm saying, to me, what's more important to me is what we galvanize and do, yeah, in those structures as African young people who are on this thing, yeah, trying to push something, yeah. And there's so much that can be said but we're not going to win every debate on the radio. But it's not even about that. It's about when I come on the next time, I want to be able to show you and say to you, listen, these youth are linking up to do these things in it. That's what it's about for me.
Tendai Murray, give thanks. Tendai Murray, brother leader, we got about a minute.
Yeah.
Because our next guest is
Tendai Murray.
Presenter is coming in. Tendai Murray.
Our subject is, are black young people interested in liberation work? Clearly, there are black young people who are interested in liberation work. Perhaps not enough young black people are engaged in liberation work. Doesn't mean that they're not necessarily interested. Why are there not more black young people involved in liberation work? Because there are not more black elders involved in liberation work. And perhaps we have not defined and clarified what the liberation work is about. And we also, there's another element to that, which is that we also must develop ourselves to the level where liberation work pays. The young people can make a living out of working for the liberation of their people, just as how Europeans make a living out of working to maintain white supremacy. We've got to start thinking constructively in terms of how we can eat, drink, put a roof over our head, doing the liberation work of our people. Finally, I want to say this. It is about, as we say in the INAP strapline, people are empowered for self-determination, taking responsibility, effecting solution. But it's amazing how often we come on programs like these and raise up examples of solutions, that existential solutions in our community. And people will call in and will challenge ideas and theories and avoid addressing the issue of the solution that is in place. And what part have you played in effecting that solution? Have you come to INAP meetings, signed up to INAP, or do you attend even a ARM meeting, a Nation of Islam meeting, and support the cause of our people's liberation, actively support the cause of our people's liberation? You'll get a better understanding of what it is that we're dealing with on a daily basis. So I thank the young people again for their contributions this evening, and even everybody who called in, as controversial as some of them were. Tendai Murray.
Tendai Murray, give thanks and praises. SG Vibes is coming up very shortly, brothers and sisters. We look forward to hearing from SG Vibes. Brothers and sisters.
So we have to say this. Tomorrow is the 90th birthday of Omawale Malcolm X, and we ain't mentioned that on the show now. Right. So we have to mention that, yeah. I meant to mention it before, but that has to get mentioned.
Definitely.
Because that's tomorrow.
Definitely.
Yeah. So we have to, that's the shoulder that we stand on right about now, innit? Right. So we have to know that. And I should have mentioned that earlier, and so I apologize.
Likewise.
But
and that was a man who believed in putting thought to action.
And organizing streets.
All right. Tendai Murray, SG Vibes is coming up, brothers and sisters. This has been Africa Speaks with Alkebu-Lan and Galaxy Radio 102.5 FM. Tatenda giving thanks and praises to the Galaxy management for the tremendous work they're doing. Tatenda also, we give thanks and praises to Muad and Muzumuku, the God and the great ancestors. We also give thanks to our producer, Brother Olatunji Heru, for structuring this program together. We give thanks to you, my brother. Brothers and sisters, we give thanks for all of you who've contributed to our program this evening. Join us again next week between 8 and 10, where we talk it straight and make it plain. Tendai Murray.
Alkebu-Lan Nomo presents the Omawale Malcolm X 90th birthday special on Friday the 29th of May 2015. The X Agenda, Government versus Gangs. Message by Respect Fayabingi, Black Fist, Black Power, and Tabadzwa Shakara Bendaka Army, addressing how should we respond to police violence? Should we vote for change? What is the role of the streets? Momo, the Omawale Malcolm X 90th birthday special, the X Agenda, Government versus Gangs. Friday the 29th of May 2015. Takes place at Mama Afrika Culture Shop, 282 High Road Leighton, London E10 5PW. Doors open at 7 p.m. and admission is a mere £3. Under 21s are free. Coming straight from work, don't worry, hot food will be on sale. Books, DVDs and educational materials are also on sale. For more information, contact 0208 539 2154 07908 814 152 www.alkebulan.org alkebulan.org